So it's been quite an eventful, I would say, month, or maybe even year in the world of professional wrestling. Lots of things have occurred since January 1st, including the Royal Rumble, in which Cody Rhodes was victorious and he is getting a chance to finish his story, per se, against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania this year. Of course, I thought Punk was going to be the one to win the Rumble, but it was Cody Rhodes, and maybe that was a better choice. Who's to say? Punk actually became injured during the Rumble match, and he's going to be out for a few months. Probably won't be able to make WrestleMania, which is weird because Seth Rollins was also injured too, but he's going to be able to make it to Mania. Well, he'll probably face maybe Drew McIntyre or maybe Gunther or something. I'm sure whoever wins the men's elimination chamber is going to be going after Seth Rollins. Likewise, whoever's going after Rhea Ripley will probably be the winner of the women's elimination chamber. But I would like to I'd like to talk about The Rock returning. SmackDown was in Birmingham. Cody Rhodes showed up and said he's going to be facing Roman. He wants to finish his story, but just not at WrestleMania. And I was thinking, that is so goofy. And then The Rock enters. And then Cody basically walks away and says, yeah, sure, it's going to be Rock Roman at WrestleMania, which received quite a big ovation from the Birmingham crowd. However, wrestling fans very quickly turned on the storyline. I was suspecting that the entire thing was a work, probably even to begin with. However, I had my doubts though, because I was thinking this is like some Vince level booking. But eventually, they had like this press conference for WrestleMania 40, where Cody said, never mind, I'm going after you at WrestleMania, I'm going to finish my story. I'd like to walk out of Philadelphia as WWE Champion. And he insulted the bloodline, which is The Rock and Roman's family. And The Rock turned heel and said, nobody talks about my family like that. So Roman and Rock are now aligned together. So it's going to be Cody, Roman, officially at WrestleMania 40. Now, I was thinking maybe they'll do some Daniel Bryan type stuff where obviously in 2014, Daniel Bryan was the fan favorite, absolutely the face of the company at that time. Incredibly over. Daniel Bryan was everybody's choice to win the Rumble, and he didn't even show up. He wasn't even booked for the Rumble. And then Batista came back and won. You know, he had just played Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, the film hadn't come out yet, but they had finished filming and all that stuff. And the fans were like, no, we want Daniel Bryan. We don't want this Batista guy, even though Batista is a legend in his own right. We want Daniel Bryan. And then eventually there was the whole Occupy Raw movement. There was the whole Yes movement that came across. And eventually Daniel Bryan earned his spot at WrestleMania. He defeated Triple H, and then later the same night won the WWE Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship, won both of them on the same night. So that was a big moment. I kind of thought that they would be replicating that at WrestleMania, or at least in the build-up to WrestleMania. But no, they're just going to go ahead and do Cody Roman. I'd imagine The Rock would probably get in there somehow. I don't know if it's going to be like the WrestleMania 27 Miz interference or whatever, like with the John Cena match, or The Rock interfering in the Miz and John Cena's match at Mania 27, which then set up a 1-year-long feud that eventually turned into 2 years with The Rock and John Cena. But as it stands now, Cody Roman, WrestleMania 40 for the the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, which they should just call the WWE Championship. Let's be real here. As I said, for Seth Rollins, he's probably going to face the winner of the men's elimination chamber. I'm thinking it might be Drew McIntyre. Maybe it'll be Gunther. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know if they're going to do like a double champion. But then Io Sky Bayley is on at WrestleMania. Bayley winning the Women's Royal Rumble. I loved her going after Io Sky because it shows the friction and damage control has reached a point where now Dakota Kai is showing her alliance with Bayley as well. So it's going to be this really interesting storyline where it's members of Damage Control infighting. It's Bayley and Dakota Kai against Asuka, Kairi, and Io Sky. And of course, Io Sky is the women's champion. It's really interesting to see how that's going to play out. I'm thinking Bayley will probably win at WrestleMania, but I'm not too sure. I think Cody is going to be beating Roman at WrestleMania. I think now's the time to do it. Truthfully, they probably should have done it last year, but they wanted Roman to get past a certain threshold of his big giant WrestleMania. Or I should say his title reign, that's going to come to an end at WrestleMania. You know, he just had to win Mania 39 to get to that point. And as I said though earlier, this was a little off topic. Well, it's not off topic, it's just I'm getting sidetracked. I did think it was weird that like Cody just said not at WrestleMania. That's just weird. Like one of the prerogatives of winning the Royal Rumble is you get to choose which champion you'd like to face at WrestleMania. The idea of Cody saying, not at Mania. Wait, it's a weird decision, but whatever. It's been righted now, I suppose you could say. In terms of who could face Rhea Ripley, I thought Jade Cargill would be the one to do it. I really did. I thought they'd get Jade Cargill to do it, but apparently the word on the street, she's not going to be able to make Elimination Chamber, or maybe she's just not booked, whatever it might be. Either way, the word on the street is that Jade Cargill will not be at Elimination Chamber, which is in Australia this year. Great, a pay-per-view at 4 in the morning. You believe that? Anyway, it's in Australia, whatever. But I don't know who it's going to be facing Rhea Ripley. I mean, I've heard some people say Becky. I've heard some people say Jade. I think it should be Jade Cargill, personally. I think they'd be really, really great. You know, two very powerful women going up against each other at WrestleMania, just like pure strength. It'd be really cool to see that. But we'll see how that goes. Then there was the Rossy Ogawa situation where, you know, the longtime promoter at STARDOM was released by Bushiroad, or he was fired. And he was accused of poaching talent, which I believe he was doing intentionally. Oh, Cody didn't finish his story. You believe that? He didn't even need Solo Sikoa this time. Crazy. But yes, Rossy Ogawa was released from STARDOM, or fired maybe. There were accusations, or rather I should say rumors, that's the more proper word, that he was about to leave STARDOM because he had growing frustrations over his booking decisions being overridden by Bushiroad. And he was the, you know, co-founder, one of the longtime promoters of STARDOM. So it really seemed as if he just was growing increasingly frustrated over Bushiroad overriding his decisions. And as I said, he was fired over poaching talent. It's believed that he was sort of acting as a feeder for STARDOM to the WWE, where he was the reason why Kyrie left STARDOM to go back to WWE. And a lot of people thought that he was the reason why Julia decided to leave STARDOM to enter potentially WWE, because everybody's expecting Julia to go to the WWE maybe sometime later this year. As of now, Rossy plans on starting his own promotion, and it's believed that some of the wrestlers from STARDOM are going to leave that promotion and then go to Rossy's new promotion. A lot of wrestlers, a lot of the talent at STARDOM are very loyal to Rossy. If I remember correctly, the only talent who's currently signed to a long-term deal at STARDOM is Mayu Iwatani. She's the only one, as far as I know. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in March, because a lot of their contracts expire in March. Maybe some will be renewed, maybe some won't. It'll be really interesting to see how that entire thing works out. But yes, I'm not expecting there to be like a mass exodus, like All Japan to like Noah, or, you know, Pro Wrestling Noah, something like that. But it'll be really interesting to see what happens out of that. And next up we have the Vince McMahon allegations, the big elephant in the room. I'm not going to go too in-depth on everything that has occurred with the Vince McMahon allegations, because a lot of other people have covered it far better than I ever probably will. But I feel like it's worth addressing. We've all known, all of us wrestling fans, we've known that Vince is a weird dude. We've all known this for a very long time. However, it's certainly a lot worse than I even thought it could be. Also, Brock Lesnar's involved in this. Well, he wasn't explicitly named in the reports, or I guess you call it the reports. However, it's highly, highly implied that it was, in fact, Brock Lesnar. They just say former UFC champion, which fits in line with Brock Lesnar. I'm not going to go into detail, as I said. But yeah, Vince and John Laurinaitis, you know, they used to call him John Laryngitis back in the day. He was the former head of talent relation. He was on TV for a long time in the early 2010s. Most famously, Money in the Bank 2011, when he and Vince entered to try to get Del Rio to cash in on Punk after he defeated John Cena for the WWE title. But yes, as I said, I don't want to go too in depth, but it's awful, you know. To put it lightly, it's awful.